At the show's beginning, this modern god appears exhausted as he sits on his couch and watches Earth's tragic news headlines on TV. To calm his nerves, he drinks a beer and watches videos of others praising him. The scene shifts to Heaven Incorporated, where angels diligently perform their duties to ensure everything goes right on Earth. Eliza Hunter, a young angel from the Department of Dirt, is desperate to get away from creating single dirt particles every single day. She begs the Department of Angel Resources to transfer her to a more engaging workplace. Eliza thinks she can be the change Earth needs, despite everyone else believing the planet is hopeless and unfixable. After some convincing, she is thrilled when she is transferred to the Department of Answering Prayers. However, it is not something she expected. When Eliza reaches the Department of Answering Prayers, she finds a hauntingly dark room with only Craig, the sole angel who has been employed at the department for thousands of years. Overworked and seemingly devoid of social connection, Craig demonstrates to his new colleague how to answer prayers. Eliza realizes that this will not be a very fulfilling career as she looks around the enormous room full of mountains of unanswered prayer tickets. Craig then shows her around and tells her to convey all impossible prayers directly to God. Later, Eliza successfully answers a farmer's prayer to preserve his drought-damaged crops. However, she mistakenly activates a rainfall-turned-typhoon and transforms one man's prayer into hundreds of "please save me, I don't want to die" prayers. So Eliza runs to God and begs for help. She tries to persuade him to do something about the increasing fatalities, and God suddenly agrees. He rushes to make an urgent announcement to the entire Heaven Inc. Taking everyone by surprise, God announces that he has decided to blow up Earth. When he returns to his office, God tells Sanjay, his executive archangel, how frustrated he is because no one is offering him lamb sacrifices anymore. Realizing that God is a gambler, Eliza places a bet to preserve Earth. She bets God that if she can solve one of the unanswered prayers, Earth will be rescued. In the meantime, the staff at Heaven Inc. start canceling their potential projects for Earth after God's announcement. Craig quickly learns that when the Earth is destroyed and he has to move to another galaxy, all his assets from thousands of millennia of labor will be lost. He then decides to assist Eliza in saving the world and his cherished job because he knows he cannot stand working at the Department of Moving Debris in a lifeless galaxy. Together, they approach God and bet to save Earth if they can bring Laura and Sam, two socially awkward people with crushes on each other, to kiss. God agrees and gives them 2 weeks to complete the challenge. The next day, God is watching the news as usual. He is unable to move past the extreme disrespect shown by well-known atheist Bill Maher. He then gives Sanjay the order to blow up Maher's penis. In the meantime, Eliza conducts a compatibility test for Laura and Sam, and they get a perfect score of 98%. It turns out that this unlikely pair also enjoys gyros, lives close to one another, has a pollen allergy, and pretends to be texting on their phones in lifts to avoid chit-chatting. Craig then devises the ingenious idea of using subtle clues to gently influence their actions to bring the humans together. Meanwhile, Sanjay gives the order to blow Maher's penis off in the Department of Genitals. However, the staff tells him that they are only here to ensure that every child reaches the wonderful stage of puberty. Sanjay is uninterested in their dutiful work and tells them to get to work because it is the order from above. Back in the Department of Answering Prayers, Eliza and Craig decide to use gyros to connect Laura and Sam. The plan works when they spoil food in Sam's refrigerator and turn off the satellite on Laura's phone so she can't order delivery. As a result, both of them head out to a nearby restaurant where they bump into each other and awkwardly ask for one another's phone number. In God's office, Sanjay rushes to the TV and watches Maher being praised for his newest item beneath the belt. Turns out, the Department of Genitals grew his penis instead of exploding it. Maher arrogantly says that God is as fake as his dick is huge. God, enraged and offended, commands Sanjay to set things right. When Sanjay confronts the department, the staff responds that pouring additional hormones into Mahir's genital glands caused his penis to reach a level of beauty that no one has ever seen before, and that it would be against their ethics and integrity to ruin something so spectacular. Irritated, Sanjay decides to take the matter in his own hand and quickly learns that it takes 50,000 pumps of the Pumpatron machine to blow up a penis. In the meantime, things are going really well between Laura and Sam until she spills her coffee on a handsome stranger. The stranger, who introduces himself as Mason, immediately becomes attracted to her. Watching from above, Eliza and Craig fear the worst, as they only have less than 12 days to complete their challenge. Craig then rushes to ruin their park date with a torrential downpour. Unfortunately, he actually makes Mason look more attractive, causing Laura's attraction meter to reach the level of maximum attraction. Since Sam is too busy attempting to put a fitted sheet on his bed, there is no chance that he will emerge as the day's hero. The scene shifts to the main halls of Heaven Incorporated. Sanjay is the newest star of the television program called Game Changers and is being interviewed by the TV team. As the next featured executive in the entire universe, he boasts about his previous achievements, including making the well-known Octomom while he was employed at the Department of Answering Prayers. The interviewer then questions him about his present work with God. Just then, Rosie, God's assistant, hands him a note and learns that God needs help on heating a pot pie. Sanjay promptly excuses himself and rushes to God to show him how to use a microwave. He then quickly gets back to the TV team and resumes the interview. However, Sanjay realizes that he is merely doing God's menial work. This realization comes when God continues to wreak havoc on himself. After burning his hands while handling the pot pie, God demands that Sanjay spoon-feed him. Meanwhile, Craig and Eliza start looking into ways to kill Mason, but things escalate when Mason offers Laura a romantic vacation to China. Without hesitation, she agrees, and they prepare to leave that night. Craig then floods China's airport, causing all the flights to be canceled. However, this effort only backfires when Laura agrees to let Mason stay with her for a few days. Eliza then decides to beg Sanjay for assistance with just 10 days left before the end of the world. Sanjay quickly devises a scheme to eliminate Mason's source of income and then ruin his reputation. After a thorough digging, the Angels learn that Mason is actually the heir to Royal Britannia Oil Company. Together, they blow up a ship transporting crude oils, and consequently, the stocks of Royal Britannia Oil Company fall sharply. When Mason's credit card is permanently canceled, he curses his dad on the phone. Seeing his true nature, Laura's attraction meter drops to the lowest level, and she decides to leave him for good. That night, Laura texts Sam, which marks the beginning of their romantic relationship. The next day, Eliza and Sanjay go through the videotapes of their previous lives on Earth. It turns out Sanjay was a royal, Craig, a caveman who had spent his entire life guarding the imaginary bog monster, whereas Eliza was a fierce warrior. Since Sanjay is busy in the Department of Answering Prayers, Rosie must now deal with God and his childish behaviors. She tries to locate a prophet who could amuse God. Logging into the ProfitMatch.com app, she discovers Dr. Dave Shelby, a laser eye specialist who spends his weekends performing in a band. Rosie then suggests God should just go crazy and call the specialist. Heading to the Department of Answering Prayers, she tries to get Sanjay to return to God because she doesn't want to be his next wingman. Sanjay is uninterested in taking part in that drama. Craig, however, decides to help since he is tired of constantly getting Eliza and Sanjay coffee and being left out of the team's major decisions. In the next scene, Sanjay arranges for Sam and Laura to meet at a party. Sam tries to socialize with Laura by displaying photos of his grandmother and engaging in awkward conversation. To bolster their romance, Sanjay turns up the subwoofer's volume, which causes the alcohol to be knocked into the fruit punch bowl. When Sam and Laura drink the mix, they get highly intoxicated. Sanjay then notices that the alcohol concentration has risen to 67%. So he pleads with Craig for assistance, but Craig tells him that he is more required as God's wingman. Arriving at God's office, God tells Craig to hit Dr. Shelby with a tornado because he has started therapy after hearing his voice. Craig initially hesitates, but is forced to carry out the demands by God. Moments later, news reports show that Dr. Shelby's house has been destroyed by a massive tornado. What's weird is, only his house has been taken down into pieces in the entire neighborhood. Frustrated, Dr. Shelby politely confronts God and tells him that although he is a secret prophet, he has a life on earth. He has a family and has to look after his children. God appreciates his honesty, and in a twisted turn of faith, he casually orders Craig to kill the doctor. Not wanting to obey such a cruel instruction, Craig lies that the machine is not working. He then resigns from his role as God's wingman and returns quickly to the department of answering prayers. When he arrives at the department, Craig notices the party is spiraling out of control. He then starts a home fire to put an end to all unintentional binge drinking. To control the fire, he activates cold showers inside the house. Sam and Laura are able to get away and converse outside just as the fire trucks arrive. They decide to meet up on Friday, and Sam is more than happy to choose an outfit with his grandmother for the big date. Just when our angels think they can save the planet, it is revealed that Sam's grandmother has less than 3 hours to live. The scene cuts to Rosie's afterlife as she strives to be the best candidate for God's executive assistant. She goes through several rigorous physical and mental tests and is finally accepted for the post. Rosie is thrilled she just got what she had been dreaming all her life. However, it quickly becomes clear that her typical day will involve opening cereal packages for God and supporting his lame business ideas, such as a Lazy Susan restaurant. True love, on the other hand, is about to be slipped away as Sam's adored Nana's life is scheduled to end in 3 days. Craig, Eliza, and Sanjay attend the Department of Death to determine their options. They are informed that if God signs a death waiver form, loving Nana will be allowed an additional 100 days of life. In the meantime, Rosie, who regrets her decision to serve as God's assistant every day, continues to dodge his trivial requests. One day, she receives a call from a recruiter from Zebulon Galaxy who wants her to work as their project manager. She will receive numerous privileges like a personal chef, masseur, company car, bag of jewels, and, most importantly, the opportunity to do something worthwhile. Rosie jumps at this opportunity because she deserves better than heaven. However, she discovers that the position is not officially hers until Earth is completely destroyed. The next day, Eliza, Craig, and Sanjay ask Rosie for help in obtaining God's signature. Rosie is uninterested in assisting an illiterate madman and would rather witness the Earth's destruction. This new detail sparks an idea among the team. That is, they can take advantage of the fact that God may not be able to read. Meanwhile, God is delighted to test his signature shocktail drink for his Lazy Susan restaurant. Just then, the angels arrive and propose that God sign a liquor license form to further his business plan. They then give him the death waiver form instead. God, who clearly cannot read, is ready to sign away. However, Rosie steps in to go through the form and confirm it. While Rosie is reviewing the contract, God unleashes his rage when he discovers that his chef served him normal fries instead of curly fries. The chef is led to his punishment in the secret back room, where agonizing screams are heard, followed by a loud suction-like pop. God then emerges from the secret back chamber, enjoying a newly acquired little jelly bean, and places it among the other jelly beans in a cup. Turns out, the chef was just turned into a jelly bean as a punishment. Eliza then talks some sense into Rosie, telling her that Zebulon is a utopia and her talents would be wasted there. Instead, she can help the imperfect Earth and its humans and do something meaningful in her life. Thankfully, Rosie takes her advice, and when God asks to read the contract aloud, she pretends to read an actual license form. God is convinced, so he signs Nana's death waiver paperwork. The team is thrilled to have Rosie join the Department of Answering Prayers, and Rosie is pleased to have finally found meaningful work. The next day, God prepares to pitch his restaurant concept to his parents so that he can secure some startup funds. He arrives at his childhood home, where he is greeted by his parents and siblings. During lunchtime, his siblings explain how great their planets are currently doing, and God proceeds to pitch his restaurant. With only 14 hours until the Earth is due to explode, Craig and the team learn that there is a basketball game in Sam and Laura's town that night. Seizing the opportunity, they indirectly convince the pair to attend and prepare to film them on the kiss cam. However, Craig mentions that the pair has a slim chance of being chosen for the kiss cam because there will be lots of couples attending that night. Eliza and Sanjay then set out to eliminate all of the other couples by activating a wind that blows away their tickets, jamming their cars, and also giving them diarrhea. Back in God's childhood home, he explains his Lazy Susan's restaurant to his perplexed parents. The concept turns out to be so dumb that his parents decide not to sponsor his project. They tell God that they do not believe he is capable of running such a tricky business. When God whines like a little boy for a while, his dad eventually agrees to fund the restaurant. But his siblings emphasize how God's previous attempts have failed. In the meantime, Sam and Laura arrive at the game and soon bond over their shared lack of knowledge about basketball. During the break, the kiss cam displays them, but the pair becomes exceedingly nervous. Everybody starts cheering them to kiss, which makes them feel even worse. To add to their torture, a mascot pressurizes Sam into kissing the girl. Sensing their helpless situation, Eliza ruptures the mascot's appendix, causing him to fall over Sam. Sam then pushes him out of nervousness. As a result, the mascot, having ruptured his appendix on the spot, falls down the stairs and dies instantly. The crowd then begins accusing Sam of killing the mascot. Elsewhere, God's siblings complain about God's creation, especially Earth, that just makes no sense. There are species called humans who live on the surface because apparently God forgot to make the planet's core, which is just fire at the moment. Moreover, they reveal that God created animals for the planet such as giraffes with obnoxiously long necks and dogs that are domesticated by humans. God's parents are enraged because they wasted their money on such useless creations. But they are most upset when they learn that God has granted humans free will. God then defends his decision, telling his family that he was actually trying to make a wise society so that all the species lived in harmony. He then realizes how much the Earth means to him and decides not to explode it. Sam and Laura, having experienced such a traumatizing first date, exit the basketball arena and argue about whether or not they want the date to end. Due to some misunderstanding, they decide to go their separate ways. Just when things seem dire for our angels, God crashes their meeting and tells them that he has changed his mind. He will stop the Earth from blowing up. Overjoyed, the team hands God the opaque metal box that had initially sealed their bet. God tries to destroy it, but to no avail. Rosie then realizes that it has been sealed permanently, and they have no other option than to reconcile Sam and Laura and make them kiss in order to stop the end of the world. With less than half an hour left, the angels recruit the help of Heaven Inc.'s employees, who provide technical expertise. God also offers his assistance, but Sanjay, fearful that he will just spoil things, tries to distract him with pointless work. He leads God to the Department of Mammoths, which has been shut down for ages, and asks him to press a button until Sanjay returns with good news. God, who cannot read, agrees as he is falsely made to believe he is in the Department of Love. In the meantime, our angels summon the help of colleagues from various departments in the command center. They create massive lightning, drainage problems, and short circuits to redirect Sam and Laura to the same path. Unfortunately, the electricity goes out, and the angels lose their signals to manipulate the pair. Eliza manages to restore it and power back their machine. Meanwhile, Sam and Laura finally reunite after experiencing several weather changes in less than 10 minutes. They stand atop a ruined building and clear their misunderstandings. Rosie decides they send pigeons to make the pair bump into each other and somehow manage to get their lips locked. Just then, Eliza notices that the couple is really into one another and is confessing their feelings. She decides against using the instruments at their disposal, although they only have less than 10 seconds before the end of the world. Thankfully, Sam and Laura, despite feeling shy, end up kissing on their own. The planet is finally saved, and the angels throw a success party to celebrate their victory. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notification, and leave 1,000 likes or 100 comments if you'd like us to continue Season 2.